Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us here on DinamoTV. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you tonight. My name is Tonchi Prusats at episode 7 of our second season, episode 45 in total, but who's counting? It has been a whiz-bang start to 2025. The months are already going by, but it's all happening on and off the pitch at Churchill Reserve. We've got a big show tonight, folks. We've got a massive show, in fact, lined up for you tonight. We've got our usual news stories, all the latest that is happening here at Churchill Reserve. Plus, we've also got two fantastic guests. Stepan Gal, he's the committee member pretty much responsible for everything other than the senior men's. He heads the mini roos. He looks after the junior boys, the junior girls, and also the women's side of things as well. He'll be talking to us about the imminent commencement of the community leagues in late March. There's a lot going on behind the scenes to get all of that ready. He'll also be touching on the Dinamo Zagreb camp that will be coming to Churchill Reserve in July. That's right, if you haven't heard already and if you haven't got excited already, do so now, because Dinamo Zagreb's youth academy coaches, professional coaches at that, will be coming to Melbourne and they will be holding a camp, a 5-day camp at Churchill Reserve in mid-July. Stepan will be telling us all about that. Also, on top of that, we've also got next month a memorabilia appeal drive. So we're asking for people who've got some old memorabilia. Could be photos, they could be old Guernseys, it could be old merchandise that we had in years gone by, to bring it to the club on Sunday, 23rd of March, I believe, and before one of the home games, and there will be volunteers on hand to scan, to take photos, etc., etc. So, that is all part of a special book that is going to be published later this year as part of our 50th anniversary. Lots going on. That's going to come up a little bit later on in the show, but before that, we've got the news desk straight after this.
The I&D Group is regarded as one of the largest deliverers of concrete structure solutions in Victoria. Formed in 1994 by Ivan and Kathy Filipovic, their passion and commitment to getting the job done safely and economically has underpinned their success in the industry. I&D partners with large-scale building and construction companies in both the private and public sectors on projects large and small. With our corporate headquarters based in South Melbourne and storage yard based in the southeast suburbs, we have at our disposal thousands of square metres of quality materials, along with state-of-the-art lifting and crane equipment, enabling us to deliver the largest projects. We are committed to delivering high-quality projects by partnering with our clients and collaborating with project suppliers to ensure each job is delivered to exceed expectations. From humble beginnings, I&D now employs more than 1,200 dedicated professional and support staff, involved in a number of landmark projects right across Victoria. The I&D Group is a massive supporter of the Croatian community, backed soccer clubs in Victoria, and is proud to be the major sponsor of the St Albans Dinamo Football Club in 2024.
Welcome back to DinamoTV, and it is time for the news desk. Yes, well, last weekend it was Dinamo hosting Heidelberg United in the NPL Victoria Round 3 match of the day, but unfortunately it wasn't at Churchill Reserve. However, it was at Knights Stadium, and a big thank you to everyone involved at the Melbourne Knights, particularly President Shime Pincic and the committee there as well, for coming out and allowing us to host our home game at Knights Stadium. We've got the highlights now, and your commentators, Lockie Flanagan, Katie Lambeski.
An ultimate game of round 3, and it looms as a really intriguing one, and it's a pleasure to have your company for it on NPL Victoria YouTube. Lockie Flanagan alongside Katie Lambeski.
Afternoon, Lockie. Afternoon, everyone. An intriguing contest awaits us here this evening. I'm looking forward to both of these sides, to be honest. I mean, familiar surrounds for Heidelberg United coming back here after that opening night loss in quite a dramatic fashion against Melbourne Knights. They'll be looking
last year from Melbourne City Youth Academy. Of course, the son of current president and 120-game St Albans veteran Ilya Dragicevic. That he shares with Joseph Cholina, whose father is also a former club president. Good football by the Burgers. The opening arrives for Yokokawa! Heidelberg are in fine form at Tomset Stadium. Standalone Sunday fixture in NPL Victoria. Not the final fixture, as it often is in the top flight, but Melbourne Victory to play South Melbourne tomorrow night at the home of the Matildas, which will be, incidentally, Heidelberg's home away from home next week when they play Preston Lions. Collins had a few runners further afield, one of whom is Knorr. There are options opening up, and Buljuach at the end, where he was denied his first Heidelberg goal in stoppage time in the opening round of the season.
After Heidelberg adding more to the scoreline and just really pushing this advantage. I just feel like ultimately they're a little bit lopsided, Dinamo, at the moment. I made my words here. Here they go.
This might be a chance to flip the script. The needle threaded for Emmanuel Peters. It's a Peters! That's the tonic for St Albans Saints. Emmanuel Peters finds the net on starting debut. this territory enough to see them through. Into the corner it goes. McGowan back to Ali. And there it is. Back-to-back wins for the Burgers. But it was anything but easy.
There we go. Not the result that we wanted. We'll pop that graphic up again. The Caesars dropped to second last spot on the competition standings. 1 point from the opening 3 games. After a promising start against Dandenong City in that opening game, we've lost the last 2 games against Altona Magic and Heidelberg United. In round 4, we've got a tough one, South Melbourne at South Melbourne. And that game is on Monday night, 3rd of March at 7:30 p.m. If you can't get down there, remember the game is on YouTube live, so be able to tune into that and watch all that. As far as the junior boys NPL, well, they're not doing too bad. Well, certainly not the junior boys NPL, sorry. We're looking for... Here we go. The under-23s, before we get to the junior boys NPL. The under-23s, they played in their round 13 game, round 3 encounter, and this was, in fact, this was actually played at Churchill Reserve on Saturday. Pardon the inaccuracies on the graphic there. The under-23s, they defeated Heidelberg 3-0. Alex Maglaris, Anton Primorac, and Nicholas Murray scoring the goals for Dinamo. The under-19s, they drew 1-1 with Tommy Najdowski scoring the goal for Dinamo. This is how the under-23s celebrated after the match. Oh, apologies for the coarse language there. Hopefully the kiddies who are tuning in didn't listen to that. Moving along to the JB NPL, it was round 4 on the weekend at Churchill Reserve. Not a good day for the Dinamo Junior Boys NPL teams. Started off with a loss for the under-14s, a 3-0 loss. The under-15s lost 1-4. Smolic scoring the only goal for the 15s. The under-16s lost 3-0. But the under-17s recorded a very good 6-1 win. Mikulic 2, Hanania, Logozzo, Reiher, and Peric all scoring 1 apiece. And if we keep that graphic up, the Dinamo boys will be travelling to Ballarat this weekend for round 5 of the qualifiers, the Western Zone qualifiers. Those games will be held at the Ballarat Regional Soccer Facility. The under-14s kick off with a 10 a.m. game. The under-15s follow at 1:15. The under-16s are at 11:30, bit of an earlier time. And then the under-17s kicking off at 3 p.m. on pitch 2. All the other games are being held on pitch 4. We move on to the anniversary gala night. So it's the 50th year anniversary, as we've mentioned at the top of the show. And save the date, Saturday the 12th of July 2025 is when St Albans Dinamo will be celebrating its 50th anniversary, and it promises to be a huge, huge night. Venue is being almost locked in, and the organisers will be announcing that very, very shortly. Not much longer to go before that. We did talk about the memorabilia auction as well, the memorabilia appeal, That's happening on Sunday, the 23rd of March from 1 p.m. in the club rooms. Dinamo have planned a call to arms action day for past and present members to bring in photos, jerseys, or any nostalgic items that can be borrowed or scanned for St Albans Dynamo's 50th anniversary book. That's certainly something to really look forward to. That should be fantastic. Awesome. That brings us to the end of the news desk. And after this very short message from one of our major sponsors, we will be having our very, very first guest. It will be time for our first guest, Stjepan Gal, committee member from Dinamo, who is responsible for the Mini Roos, the juniors, and the girls. Stay tuned. Welcome back to DinamoTV. I still cannot believe that it is episode 7. The year is already flying by very quickly. How do you like our new backdrop? Let us know in the comment section. Do you like our backdrop, our new backdrop? Thanks to John Bilosh, the Vice President who's organised that. Or do you prefer our old one? In the meantime, we're going to talk to our special guest. He's the head of the junior girls and the junior boys department at the Dinamo. It's a very, very warm welcome to Stjepan Gal. And Stjepan, when I say warm, it's hot today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit warm today. Yeah. High 30s today, so
yeah. Hope you manage to stay out of the heat. But mate, it's really hotting up as we're getting closer and closer to the start of the community junior football season. Just a lot to organise, isn't there? Let's I guess first talk about the Mini Roos. That's part of your domain as well. How are things travelling in that department? Have we got enough coaches? How are teams going and all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, look, it's been a pretty busy start, bit hectic. Grounds have been fun, so hopefully we're working on things behind the scenes to sort of help with grounds, and the council as well has been accommodating in relation to giving us grounds. But it's still been a little bit tough to sort of get through that. From a players and coaches perspective, we're all sorted in relation to the coaches. However, with players, we're still searching for a couple players, as you can see on screen at the moment. A Mini Roos goalkeeper, community boys under 15s, and our girls program as well. So, there's a couple of players that we need in each of those teams. So, and especially in the girls program has gone to another level this year again. So I think we got 7 or 8 teams this year.
Wow.
Plus the women. So it's exploded again. It's almost doubled in size this year again.
Well, that was going to be my next question. How much has it grown since last year? And there you go. You've just answered the question. It's effectively doubled in size.
I think this year there's 150 or so female participants at the club this year. So it's growing year on year. So it's good. It's good. It's a good problem to have, and it's good to sort of have a good dialogue with council, and sort of trying to make that work for all our kids to have somewhere to play.
Now we hear female football a lot. We hear about how it's growing. Obviously, the success of the Matildas has had a big role to play. But and that's great. But what's it like with retaining these players? Is it, we have that problem with the boys, especially as they get into the high teens, retaining them. What about with the girls? Are they just as eager to front up for another season or 2 seasons or whatever the case may be? Or is that a problem that you find not just at our club but at other clubs as well?
Look, I think I think up to the age of probably 15, 16 and before VCE and all that sort of stuff, I think the commitment levels are very high. I think when VCE comes into play, I think, whether it's from a boy or a girl position, I think that sort of maybe takes precedence from a football perspective. But one of the good things and one of the things that we've sort of started to do here at St Albans Dynamo is we're introducing the girls, the under 14s, the under 15s, the under 16 girls into the senior women's squad. So, we're identifying that and showing our parents and players that there's a clear pathway from the junior system all the way up to the senior women's system. So, hopefully that will sort of mitigate or decrease that sort of level of females sort of not wanting to play anymore when it comes to that age. But it's been really good, and Tommy and Andrew and Ilya, the coaches from the senior women, have been really supportive in doing that and providing our young female players the opportunity to participate. One in training, and I think on the weekend there was 4 or 5 girls from the under 15s and 16 teams that helped out the senior women over the weekend in a friendly against Melton. I think they won 5-0 as well. So
fantastic.
It's moving forward. So we're doing all the right things, and I think we're giving the girls the right pathway to get into the senior team.
And what is the end kind of like the ambition or the aim with regards to that? Is it maybe having a second senior women's team playing in one of the lower divisions and eventually getting to state one where we need to have a reserves team? Or is it like what our sister club, North Geelong, have managed to do? They've managed to get a team in the Community Premier League, which is, I guess, the next step down from the National Girls Premier League competition. Is that sort of part of the strategy at Dynamo at the moment?
Yeah, I think the first probably bit of strategy would be potentially looking to get the senior women into State 1. Mm-hmm. However, you also need to solidify the teams below and make sure that there are girls coming through the program and being able to, be and move into the reserve team or the under 21s or the second team with the senior women. So I think that will probably be the first step in relation to moving forward. Moving the girls into the CPL, Community Premier League. We did speak about that this year. I don't think we're ready at the moment, but I think potentially maybe in the next year or two, that might be something we could look at. But I think if we can support our senior women, make sure we solidify the structure and make sure that there's longevity in that program and the senior women's program, then I think everything else will sort of follow suit. And that way, like I said previously, I think we can give a strong pathway for the females into the senior women's like we do for the boys into the senior men. Mm-hmm. So, that's the goal of the club. And I think from a junior perspective, that's the main aim. How do we get our junior kids into the senior men program?
Well, I mean, it's quite an exciting. The fact that there's so much opportunity there really provides a lot of excitement. Now, we'll talk about something that also is going to give the juniors excitement, but we'll return to that slide there with the players that are needed. So in the under 11 Mini Roos boys, we're looking for a goalkeeper. The under 15 community boys, 3 outfield players and a goalkeeper, and then the girls. The under 14 community girls team, 3 outfield players. The under 15s, likewise, 3 outfield players, and in the under 16s, 4 outfield players. But and there's the job form. Do fill that out. You can also find that job form on our official Facebook page as well. Now, Stepan, I guess something in July that's going to happen that's going to really, really excite the juniors within the St Albans Dynamo football community is the impending Dinamo Zagreb camp that's going to be held at Churchill Reserve. Now, next week's show, Scoop, we will be speaking to Ivan Kelava, formerly of Melbourne Victory, who's also one of the youth coaches at the Dinamo Zagreb Academy. And we will also be speaking to Ivan Novosel, the Zaprešić boys, Ivan Novosel, as well, who is the ambassador for the diaspora, for the Croatian diaspora for Dinamo Zagreb. they'll be speaking a lot more about this. But give us a little bit of a rundown about what we can expect with the Dinamo Zagreb Football Academy.
Yeah, look, I think this is something really, really exciting for one, the kids of the club at St Albans Dinamo, but also, kids within, Australia, to have access to 5 top quality coaches from one of the best youth programs in Europe or even in the world. The training sessions, hopefully, or they will be ran very professionally, and along with, assistant coaches that we would be probably looking to provide from some of our coaches that are at the highest level. The learning, like I just keep saying, I think the learning that the kids will get from these 5 days will be second to none in Australia anyway. And to be given the opportunity to be part of this, I think is an amazing opportunity. When I was young, I wish I had something like this come down to our shores and provide an opportunity to get seen by, European sort of coaches and learn and see, the level that, at least a glimpse of the level of what's required in Europe. And I think that's probably the greatest, or probably the best thing out of this opportunity, and one also establishing a relationship with one of Croatia's biggest clubs, or Croatia's biggest club for me anyway. I know you probably have a different opinion, but
I'm for St Albans Dinamo at the moment. Let's just leave it at that.
So I think I think it's going to be a great opportunity, for the club to establish ties with a club as big as Dinamo Zagreb, and then hopefully make this into an annual event.
Yeah. Now, Stjepan, let's bring you back to your youth, back to your playing days, and we may have spoken about this last year, but you've actually had a taste of football in Europe, a bit of taste of Croatian football. And when you were over there training, trialling, and whatnot in your younger days, what was the biggest thing that you kind of identified as the biggest difference between Croatian football and Australian football?
I think it's just the hours on the ball. It's as simple as that. I think, I was 14 at the time, to be training twice a day. And then when you're not training, you're playing on the field, on concrete, you're playing 5-a-side. So there's always that opportunity of trying to become a better player. And you've always got the ball. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Do we lack that here to a certain degree? I think we do, probably outside of the football world in relation to the club world and all that sort of stuff. Do kids do enough outside of structured training? Probably not. But that was probably the biggest thing. And one of the, I went to school with Nico Kranjčar, and he used to play with us. He used to play with us on a concrete floor, 5-a-side. So, and he's captain Croatia, played at a lot of big clubs. So, that's probably the biggest thing.
No, that's awesome. Look, I guess kids that do attend that camp, and we'll bring that graphic up again. Look, save the date. You don't want to miss it. Kids that get this opportunity, they'll be training twice a day, 5-day training camp. Look, the level of instruction, the intensity, I guess, it's just going to be something that, as you say, I wish I had stuff like this as a kid. But it's going to be an amazing experience. We'll hear more about that, no doubt. Now we do now let's turn our attention to the JB NPL scene, the junior boys NPL scene. The teams have it's been a mixed start to a lot of the teams, but I guess what we're seeing is a lot of the younger players are getting an opportunity to sort of step up as well. And we always knew it wasn't going to happen overnight, but the wheels are in motion with Jason and the rest of the coaching staff there to really put something into practice. From your point of view, how's the JB NPL season sort of started? Not just the results, but just
look. I think, if you put the results aside, I think from a footballing perspective, I think we're very early on in the journey of where we want to get to. However, I can already see with the short time that we've applied what we've wanted to do, there's already a big improvement in the style of play that we are known for throughout all 4 teams, and a consistency within all 4 teams on sort of how we play and the football that we want to be known for. So that's testament to all the young boys that are within those teams to be able to sort of grasp it and do it that quickly, and that's not easy to do. I think Jason asks a lot from the boys, and I think that's brilliant. And the boys,
and how are they responding? How are they responding to that? Like overall, the culture of the boys' teams.
Yeah, I think they've responded really well. I think awesome. There's a certain type of professionalism that sort of he's brought into the training world and for the boys, and they're coming to training, for example, they're coming 45 minutes to half an hour earlier before training, and doing simple things as doing the TerraBands and doing the stretches and getting things moving. So these are just little things where we're moving forward and starting to move forward as a club. And I think, as time goes, we'll get better and better. And, hopefully, hopefully the kids are here for the journey. And if they are or they aren't, I think hopefully we give them certain traits and experiences that they can take away from Dinamo to another club, for example, or instill within their mates and sort of be able to keep that on their journey throughout their football life.
And not only is this an exciting opportunity for the players at Dinamo to have someone like Jason Trefiro overseeing everything, the technical director, but for potential coaches as well to really hone their skills and to develop their skills. And speaking of coaches, we are looking for an under-15s coach.
Yeah, so we've been on the lookout for a under-15s JB NPL coach. I think there's big opportunity here to learn off someone like Jason, as you mentioned. We've already got, for example, Josh Vuletic, that's one of our young coaches from our mini Roos that's been helping out and assisting with him. The learning that he's getting, and he's even told me firsthand, it's been really, really good. And the experience that he's gaining being next to Jason and has been invaluable. And he's already running sessions by himself. So, I think the opportunity here for any young aspiring coaches that are potentially looking to get into the system and program at St Albans Dinamo, I think this is a great opportunity to become part of something long-term and something that we look to build for our kids and give them the opportunity, to get to a senior level.
Yeah, mate, it sounds very, very exciting what's in the pipeline for the juniors, the boys and the girls and senior women as well. So thank you for coming on the show and giving us all the latest behind-the-scenes information as we inch closer and closer towards the start of the community leagues as well as the State League women's competition.
No, beautiful. Thanks, Tonch.
Good on you, Stepan. Stepan Gal, member of the committee who oversees and coordinates the junior boys and junior girls department here at Churchill Reserve. Folks, we're going to take a short break. When we return, it's time for our second guest of the evening. He's a real club legend, Mickey Cholina. He'll be talking to us about the upcoming memorabilia appeal later next month. Don't go away. You're watching DinamoTV. You're watching DinamoTV. It is our 7th episode of 2025. And before too long, well, I mean, the first 2 months of this year, as I said, just seemed to fly by. Before you know it, it'll be time for the merchandise, the memorabilia appeal, which is on Sunday, the 23rd of March from 1 p.m. It's not long to go. It's just over 3 weeks, I suppose. And Dinamo has planned a call to arms action day for past and present members to bring in photos, jerseys, nostalgic items that can be borrowed or scanned for the official St Albans Dinamo 50th anniversary book, which will be unveiled this year as part of our club's 50th celebrations. Pretty exciting times, that's for sure. And who doesn't love some old memorabilia? With a club that's got a history, a 50-year history, well, we've got some fantastic pieces of memorabilia that have collected over the years. Well, to show us just a small smidge collection of his vast collection of Dinamo gear, Guernseys, and what you're not, is former player and coach and club legend Mickey Chorley. Now, Mickey, welcome back to Dinamo TV. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Torchy. Great to be part of it. Thanks for the opportunity. So, how are you?
Now you're helping out with the memorabilia appeal. I guess you got roped in it because of course, you've got over the years you've collected so many things. But first of all, how did you get involved, and really what's kind of your role in all of that? I know it's kind of a general role, but just sort of a little bit of an insight into what's happening behind the scenes with regards to the Dinamo Gala.
Well, given obviously the 50th anniversary, it's a big thing for the club naturally, and there's a vast number of people involved in different facets of the occasion and the event. And as I think people have pointed out already, there's obviously the big gala that's going to be on, but I think there's going to be a number of things going on throughout the course of the year. Speaking to Ilya, really just casually over a barbecue one early part this year, and talked about the idea, and obviously over time as a player you've collected and from clippings to jerseys, and as you mentioned, naturally you do, and asked if I could sort of help out, and of course we're always open to help out whatever way we can, and this is sort of the domain that they've sort of stuck me into to work with the ladies and other guys that are part of this, obviously the event, and so as you pointed out already, they've got on the 23rd the opportunity for people to bring in anything that's been collected over time, photos, news clippings, strips, whatever, anything Dinamo, I guess, and the club would love to create a 50th anniversary book, which I think is a great concept, a great idea, and it's obviously something that from a club perspective, and anybody that loves Dinamo can get their hands on, and it's part of history and be part of something very special.
It's fantastic. And look, the club yesterday put a post up on social media about announcing the memorabilia appeal for Sunday, the 23rd of March. We'll actually put that back up, that graphic there. It is going to be on the 23rd of March on a Sunday, the day of our home game, and it will be from 1 p.m. But people have already started popping things up in the comments section of that particular thread. But what we really want, and this is great, this is absolutely fantastic, but what we want are those people to actually turn up with the originals so that we can scan it, because the difference between just doing a copy up on a Facebook page or something like that, and actually scanning the original at high resolution makes a big difference. But look, there's some photos from yesteryear, and that's not just photos, jerseys as well. There was that one graphic there of a jersey. We'll pop that up there. Geez, that brings back lots and lots of memories, that's for sure. But mate, who better than to talk about past jerseys, I guess, than a man who played. How many games did you play, by the way, at Dinamo? For this is putting on the spot.
Yeah, I think it was something like just under 300 official league games, and then obviously you got cups and tournaments.
Oh gosh!
I mean, goes into your 350, I suppose. But numerous decades, I suppose. But when you reflect back, it's like it was yesterday.
Yeah, and in that time, I guess you've amassed some Guernseys, jerseys, what you will, that all have a story to tell. And let's go back to the who can forget. Certainly, my generation remembers the Buffalo Cup days very, very well, and the Buffalo being a major sponsor of Victorian football. But we're going back to 1987 now. You've got a kit there, or you've got a top there from that era. Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, look, I think it was about 87, and I think how the concept worked was the teams that finished in the top 4 in the state league, because the VPL was called the state league then in those days. They finished in the top 4, participated in this summer pre-season cup, which was called the Buffalo Cup, and the 4 teams from the state league, along with the Victorian-based NSL sides, were part of this tournament. It was like a grouped tournament that went through all the way typically to semi-finals and finals, and obviously you had the honour of being part of that squad at a very young age, and it was Olympic Park, double headers, big crowds. So for a young 16-year-old, it was massive just to be part of it. And Buffalo were the sponsors, as you mentioned, and so every club got a jersey and an away kit, and I've still got that kit that we got given, obviously, for that tournament. And look at the kit and I wonder how the hell did I fit in it anyway. That's the story. But it was really weird because our away kit was purple and yellow, so there's no chance of that clashing with anybody. But our home kit was red, so naturally that would have been a popular one across teams like Preston, Melbourne, Croatia, Sunshine Georgies.
Cross,
So, and if I can hold it up to give you an idea, I mean, this is, again, the camera fits most of the strip.
Yeah.
That's the kit that we had for that particular tournament. So, and that went on for a little while. It wasn't very long-lived, which is disappointing, but it was a great, the concept was great, and it gave opportunities to state league clubs to be part of something of that stature, obviously pre-season. And then as we go chronologically, what's the name for it? I'm using the wrong term.
Yeah, chronologically, we're going into the early 90s now.
Yeah, so what went next to one of the strips, I mean, I've got a number of them, but I just sort of picked out some key ones. There was a period where we changed our name to Hush Gradziński, Snorber's Hush Gradziński, for a couple of years, in line with, Snorber's Dinamo when they changed their name back home. And we were still in the red kit. And but this was also when they introduced the VPL.
Oh, yeah, the Victorian Premier League, yeah.
So it was in line with the EPL when they changed their name over in the UK. And all the players, we had our names on the back of the jerseys. And they did that for a couple of years. But I think financially for most clubs, it's sort of become a bit of a nightmare as players changed and God knows what throughout the course of the season. And it wasn't unusual for some players to be wearing somebody else's surname on the back of their jersey, as I was playing the game. So this was that kit that we had, the first one in the NPL, with a sponsor, and obviously they had the names on the back. So that sort of lasted, like I said, I think it was about 2 years.
Yeah.
And
to reflect the situation in Croatia and Dinamo Zagreb changing their name to Građanski. How was it received? I mean, obviously in Croatia, particularly by the Bad Blue Boys, the fan club, it wasn't very well received, and they had to wait until, I think, 2000 when Franjo Tuđman, the inaugural president, passed away, and then he gave permission for Dinamo to return the name. How was it received here in Australia? St Albans Dinamo going to Hush Građanski.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Tonchi. For me personally, and I think I share this with most people, I wasn't too rapt about it. I thought it was really weird. I get the reasoning to a certain degree.
Yeah,
but I don't understand why. It's something that, like most of us, who obviously play for Dinamo here or follow Dinamo over there, there's a connection, and that's just like now, I don't know any club in the EPL or any Real Madrid, changing their name to God knows what. I think it was definitely something I didn't think was very popular.
Yeah.
Definitely for us even here, as you pointed out, back in Croatia. So it wasn't popular, that's for sure, and it didn't last very long here.
Yeah.
I don't quote me, but I know that we did not carry that logo, Hush Građanski, here for many years at all. I think it was only a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then we reverted back to Snobber's. I think for us, what changed it, by memory now, is when they brought in, the Victoria Football Federation brought in this thing where all clubs had to have some kind of
nickname, a moniker.
Yeah, and obviously we had the Saints.
Yeah.
We're always known as Dinamo, and that's where the Saints have come across, you know what I mean? Green Gully Cavaliers, and Altana got the Magic, you know what I mean? It was Altana gave Vardar, you know what I mean? All these clubs adopted some of these nicknames, if you want to call it, and we took on Saints, you know what I mean? Obviously wasn't super creative, but nevertheless, we took on the Saints, and that's, I think, the point where Hush Građanski got dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we took on the Saints, and we still had, the red kit. And then there was a period where we swapped over to the blue kit.
Yeah.
Which is the next one I'll hold up. And this isn't the first one that we got that year. I remember the first kit that we did get that year, and I'm going to lie, I'm not going to tell you what year because I can't remember. It was a kit that we ended up getting from overseas. I remember the brand was not local, and that was our first kit. It had the checkered collars, and a blue kit. But this was, I believe, like our second one under the guise of Snobber Saints. And obviously it was the blue kit began, I think this was year 2, and it remained a blue kit as we know it today. Obviously we've thrown the Dinamo back in the mix, which is fantastic. I think it's a great idea. Obviously things are loosened up in terms of the federations and what they want clubs to be adopting, and obviously we've seen some clubs around the country adopt Croatia back in the mix. I think, which is obviously something that we've done, and we've taken or brought back the Dinamo as a big part of our logo and our identity again, which is fantastic.
I think it's great, and I think one of the greatest achievements is seeing some of my fellow NPL commentators who come from an Anglo-Saxon background pronouncing the Dinamo very correctly, and not Dinamo. As it used to be.
It was Dinamo. Well, for many years it was Dinamo, that's for sure. I mean, in my day, but they learn, which is great, and even surnames, they do learn. So
they do. So any NPL commentators out there watching this, and I know quite a few do. Congratulations and well done on the correct pronunciation. That's awesome, Mickey. Thank you so much for hearing from coming on the show and showing us a little bit of your vast collection. And that's going to be huge. Once again, that memorabilia appeal Sunday, the 23rd of March from 1 p.m. at the club. Do get yourself down there. We're going to have a heap of volunteers scanning, taking photos and what you're not. So it will be fantastic.
Yeah, that will be a big day. And again, echoing what you said to everyone out there that watches, and share it around to individuals that have got a history with the club, whether that be a short one or a long one. It's an opportunity for people to share whatever they do have in their cupboards and stacked albums and God knows what. And you'd be surprised some of the random stuff that people might find. It's been awesome just seeing some of the stuff on the social media already. I've seen stuff in some of these junior photos, you know what I mean, which is crazy. Which is great. So, look, it is a big occasion. It's a big thing for the club, and there's a lot of people involved, and everyone's put their hand up to be part of it. And look, like I say, if anyone's got any stuff out there on that 23rd, bring it down, and hopefully we can collect as much as we can to put as much information and images and God knows whatever we find is going to be worthy of making the book. I think would be a great idea.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Fantastic. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. And we'll look forward to having you on the show again later in the year.
Look forward to all the best. Thanks, Tonchi. Take care. Talk soon. Cheers, guys.
Good on you. Mickey Cholina, true club legend here at Churchill Reserve. Folks, don't go away. We're going to wrap things up very, very shortly after this short break. Don't go away. You're watching DinamoTV. And that does bring us to the very end of this week's episode of DinamoTV. Thank you so much for being a part of tonight's show. On next week's show, very special episode. It is an exclusive interview with Ivan Novosel, who is one member of the Zaprešić Boys, the famous Croatian pop group. And he's also the special envoy or special ambassador for the Croatian diaspora for the Dinamo Zagreb Football Club. And also we will be speaking to Ivan Kelava, formerly of Melbourne Victory. He's a professional football coach, a youth football coach at Dinamo Zagreb, and he's one of the coaches who will be coming out to Australia in July to conduct the Dinamo Zagreb Football Academy camp here at Churchill Reserve. Folks, until next week, have a lovely, lovely week. Lovely weekend and a lovely week. My name is Tonči Prusac, and good night for now. Bye-bye.